Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and this is another episode of Ask the Lawyers. Today we're going to talk about a kitchen appliance that's actually been around for a very long time, but it seems to be making a new surge in popularity. And our expert today says this surge in popularity is coming with a dangerous price, and he has some warnings for us. Attorney George McLaughlin is an experienced trial lawyer, has handled hundreds of product liability cases all over the United States. He's located in Denver, Colorado, but represents people in product liability cases across the country. George, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother had a pressure cooker, and it had the little thing on top that would rattle and it would whistle and all that kind of stuff. But that was a long time ago. Are you saying pressure cookers are coming back now? They're having a surge in popularity?
They are. The pressure cookers that are popular these days are not exactly like the ones your mother or your grandmother had. They're standalone appliances. They're electric appliances with digital controls.
So they don't go on a stovetop?
They do not go on a stovetop. It's a standalone appliance you buy under various brand names. They plug it in, turn it on, follow the directions to cook things under the pressure of a pressure cooker.
So where is the potential danger there? How are people getting injured, and how is it happening?
People are getting injured, and the injuries occur from the sudden release of pressure from within the pot. These devices, these modern pressure cookers, come with safety features that they promote with the product that say that the pot cannot be opened when it's under pressure, that there are safety mechanisms that will indicate when all the pressure has been released. If you open a pressure cooker before the pressure has equalized, the contents have heated to a temperature above what would be the boiling point of the liquids if they were not under pressure. Under pressure, the boiling point is higher, so you have superheated liquid. If you suddenly open the pot, everything suddenly boils. It explodes out of the pot. And the safety feature is to prevent that from happening. They say often on the box itself, and certainly in the instructions, that it cannot be opened when it's under pressure. But we're finding that in some instances, they are in fact being opened by the user who thinks that the pot is no longer under pressure. Sometimes it indicates it isn't under pressure, and even if the indication were to be ignored and it says it's under pressure, you're not supposed to be physically able to open it, but people are able to open them, and the contents are exploding over them or people near them.
So is the problem that there's some sort of faulty manufacturing, or is it people are not using the product correctly? What do you think?
The product is being used correctly. People are not opening it intentionally under pressure. They're getting the indication that it is not under pressure. And in that circumstance, if it is under pressure, it should say it's under pressure, right, and it is not. And even if the consumer were to be attempting to open it when it's under pressure, by design, it's supposed to have a locking mechanism which prevents it from being opened under pressure. So if the consumer were to make the mistake, it shouldn't open. So it is a manufacturing and or a design defect that the safety feature is not functioning as it is intended to function to prevent it from opening under pressure.
And are you hearing from people that have had these problems and are injured? And what sort of injuries are we talking about?
Well, yes, I am. And I have a pending case right now for a family where a mother and her little girl were making a stew, and they report that the pressure cooker indicated that it was not under pressure. This particular product, which is called the Instant Pot, a particular model, there are several models of Instant Pots, but this particular model of Instant Pot markets itself that it cannot be opened when it's under pressure. The family reports that it indicated it wasn't under pressure. They had done some cooking. It was time to add another ingredient. They believe it's safe to open, and if it's under pressure, it shouldn't open. But the mother opens the pot, and the contents are under pressure. They spew all over the face and the side of the torso of this little girl, causing second-degree burns.
Oh, that's terrible. Are you finding that it's one particular manufacturer, or is it, or you think it's multiple manufacturers?
It's multiple manufacturers. I've been getting into the details of this particular product. This isn't the only instance with this particular model of Instant Pot, but there are other manufacturers who have similar products that are experiencing similar malfunctions of their products.
So if the product's defective, who's responsible? Is it the manufacturer? Is it whoever sold the product? Where does the blame lie? Who would go after?
Well, the blame lies somewhere other than with the customer. And depending on the state you live in, you may or may not be able to hold liable the seller or the distributor and or the manufacturer. Ultimately, the manufacturer ought to be legally liable for these products. But in the case of the Instant Pot, it's made in China, and it's imported by a distributor in Canada. And then from Canada, it was sold by way of the internet through Amazon to a family in Colorado. Now, in some states, you would be able to sue the seller, whether it's an online seller or a store you walked into. But in some states, you can't sue the seller. You have to get back to the manufacturer. The laws vary from state to state. In many states, if you can't reach the manufacturer to bring them into your lawsuit because they don't do business in the United States, they make products in China, for example, and a distributor themselves imports them in. In some states, as in Colorado, the law is that the retailer or the distributor then becomes legally liable. You have to, well, you don't have to, but in some states, you're able to reach the seller of the product, even though they did nothing other than pass it across the counter in exchange for your money. But in other states, you can't do that. So
I think with all those layers and those complexities, it's even more important to have an attorney who is familiar with these particular cases.
Yes, if you have this happen to you, the first thing anybody needs to do is preserve the product, never use it again, don't change it, don't clean it, just leave it as is, and contact a product liability attorney such as myself that can give you advice as to what steps to take from there.
It seems to me, George, with a lot of these appliance products, the cord has got warning after warning after warning on it. Does that absolve the manufacturer from any sort of responsibility?
Well, in some instances, warnings can absolve a manufacturer. If there's a warning and the consumer doesn't follow the warnings and is injured because they didn't follow the warnings and the warnings were clear, obvious, then the consumer may have either assumed the risk or be contributorily negligent for what happened. But in this instance, there is no warning. The warning doesn't say, don't open this product under pressure. The box says that there are safety features that prevent it from being opened under pressure.
What's your advice for people that have these products that may use them on a regular basis? What advice do you have for them?
Personally, I would be reluctant to use it because you never know from the reports that we've seen whether it really is or isn't still under pressure. You certainly shouldn't use one around a small child. If you're using one of these products and it indicates that it's not under pressure, the vast majority of them are not malfunctioning.
Right.
Some of them do, but you never know. Is this the time when yours is going to malfunction? I would just say be careful in the way you open it. When you do open it very slowly. And if you hear a hiss as you're begin to open the pot, then you're beginning to hear the release of the pressure. Close it. Don't continue to open it if there's any indication whatsoever that it's still under pressure, or if it's difficult to open, don't force it. They're not supposed to be able to be forced open, but if you're having trouble opening it, wait to let the contents cool off and be sure that the pressure is out that way. And
you mentioned if you are injured to not change it. I'm assuming pictures would be a good idea. How do you know, and contact an attorney, how do you know you've got the right attorney for this sort of situation?
Well, you ought to try to find an attorney who has experience with the product. In my career, I've found certain products that were defective, and I'd do one case and have a successful outcome, and I'd use that case as the building block for the next case, because in every piece of litigation that you get involved in with a product, you learn more every time you do a case. You find more documents, you find more evidence of other similar incidents. So what I recommend to anyone who's looking for an attorney for a particular product is to find someone who's done that product before, who knows that product. Don't just answer an ad on TV where you see someone marketing for personal injury cases. Right. When it comes to products, product liability is a real niche for civil litigation attorneys. You've earned your stripes in product liability by doing it for years and years and years. And that knowledge does transfer from product to product onto how to prosecute a case. But you're always better off having an attorney who has done this product before. And
we mentioned at the beginning, but I wanted to just get a little more information. You handle not just cases in Colorado, right? You handle cases all over the country.
That's right. I've not practiced in all 50 states yet, but it's getting close. Probably over 40 different states. When I need to go to another state, often attorneys from other states who know I do product liability work, they call me and invite me to come help them with a case because it's a new product to them or they haven't done product liability cases before. They become my co-counsel. They are my ticket, so to speak, to that court. You're always able to get permission of a state to practice an individual case in that state's court if you have a local attorney with you.
Gotcha. George, thank you so much for your time. This is very helpful information. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest has been George McLaughlin from Denver, and if you need more information, you are ready to find more information from George or any other legal information, hit up askthelawyer.com. Be sure to take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can find out when we have future episodes of Ask the Lawyers. I'm Rob Rosenthal, and that's Ask the Lawyers.